Everyone's favorite Renaissance man, Flatboy, is back, and he's better than ever. Today's character breakdown is Mr. Game & Watch, one of Smash's oldest characters on the roster. Mr. Game & Watch's first appearance was in Ball, a silver Game & Watch title released by Nintendo in 1980. Some fun facts about Mr. Game & Watch. There are more than 60 titles in the Game & Watch franchise. Mr. Game & Watch is the oldest character in the Smash franchise, beating Pac-Man by only 1 month. And in Pikmin 2, one of the treasures that is salvaged is a copy of Ball, the first Game & Watch title. What's up, YouTube? I'm Chalktopus, and today we're breaking down Mr. Game & Watch. This is our third character guide, and this is a weekly series, but before we get started, let me know in the comments section below which character you want to see next. So far, we've covered Inkling, King K. Rool, and now Mr. Game & Watch. He's seen a bunch of changes since Smash 4, both cosmetic and gameplay, and we're going to talk about them. Mr. Game & Watch is nimble, and he's great in the air, and he has a lot of powerful smash attacks, making him quite the contender on the battlefield for such an old geezer. Mr. Game & Watch's neutrals are, yeah, Mr. Game & Watch's neutrals are pretty basic. If you press A over and over again, he'll do this pump. Even if you hold it, I mean, some people have a continuous jab. Mr. Game & Watch is not one of them. However, if you do connect, you can hold down the button and you can do a continuous jab. So it only works if you connect the first one. So if you're over here and you just hold down A, it's not going to do anything beyond the first attack. But if you do land it and you hold down A, it's going to do a continuous jab, which is actually good because you could rack up some pretty quick damage. Mr. Game & Watch's running neutral is this head-first slide, which you can actually do into sequence. It's pretty good. Mr. Game & Watch has really strong smash attacks, as he really always has, starting with his down smash, which is this hammer that hits on both sides. Now, if you're too close to your opponent, it's just going to knock them back. However, if you catch them with the end of the hammer, you will actually root them in the ground, which is going to be a setup for most of the KOs you're going to get with Mr. Game & Watch. But just like King K. Rool, if you're playing against a seasoned player, they're going to be able to jump out. Also, it's important to know that you can do this attack in sequence without really breaking form, especially if you're using the C-Stick. You can do it quite a number of times. And this is good against opponents that are constantly rolling because you're covering both sides. His forward smashes, he whacks you with this torch. Now, this is going to be one of your primary kill options. So, if you do happen to root someone in the ground, let's say, let's put Mario up to, I don't know, maybe 60 damage, because I think it kills pretty low. So let's go to 60, let's root Mario, and then if you can get one of these, okay, so maybe it's not there, but if you can root them, even at higher damages, they're going to go flying. His up smash is the stomp with the diver helmet. Now, this is another attack that hits on both sides. So if you have someone that's doing a lot of rolling or they're coming overhead, you can really use the down smash or the up smash to catch them, because like I said, it hits on both sides. Now, while Mr. Game & Watch has really strong smash attacks, you got to be careful because they are pretty high in frames, so it takes them a while to get out. But at high damages, you're going to be using mostly your forward smash and up smash to kill. Okay, special moves. So you have Mr. Game & Watch's neutral B, which is Chef, where he flings out various meats and fishes. Order up, Squidward! His neutral B is good for spacing and for a little bit of ledge guarding. Now, if you just hold the B button, it's not as fast as if you mash it. If you mash it, he'll throw out food a little quicker than if you hold it down. Yeah, it's a decent attack. The range is pretty random, so I wouldn't count on this so much on the ground. However, like I said, if you happen to get them off the stage, you know, you can throw some food off the stage and try and mess up their jumps. Down B is his bucket. Now, his bucket can store projectiles, or in some cases, he could counter them. So let's make Mario shoot fireballs at us. So neutral special. Now, every time you catch something, you get a stack. You can actually hold on to that once you're full. So if you have 3 stacks in there, let's turn this off. You can hang on to it as long as you want. He's glowing when he's full, so you'll know. This way you don't forget. But at higher damages, this will insta-kill. When it's at 0, I think it'll only do somewhere between 30 and 40 damage, so let's see. Yeah, 36 damage, you'll throw whatever the contents of the bucket are, and in some cases, I do not want to know what the hell's in that bucket. But at higher damages, they will insta-kill. Alright, so our bucket's full. I set Mario to about 50 damage. Now, this kill's pretty low. I think this will kill him here. I don't know if he can DI out of it. Hang on, let's go to other settings. Let's turn on CPU shuffling, and let's put it to a lot. I think it'll still kill him, though. Yeah, so around 50 damage, if you have a full bucket, you can kill your opponent. Now, it's also good to note that against characters like King K. Rool, I don't know the specifics of every single character with a projectile, but I know for a fact that if you're playing against King K. Rool and you use your bucket, you can reflect his cannonball, which is super useful, especially playing against annoying King K. Rool mains where they're constantly spamming their cannonballs and their crown throws. Mr. Game & Watch's side B is Judge, where he swings this hammer, and you get a random number between 1 and 9. Now, each number has a property, and like I said, it's completely random, but the attack is really good because it comes out fast. It's also really good in the air because the attack comes out so quick, so if you're ledge guarding, you can get it out and still recover, especially because Mr. Game & Watch has one of the best recoveries in the game. In my opinion, the only two numbers that matter are 8 and 9, so they come out randomly. I just happened to magically get an 8 right there, but 8 is going to freeze, and 9 is the ping. 9's the one you want because it's going to KO. Let's see. 8. There we go, 9. And while 9 doesn't come out super often, it does kill at really low damage. Let's see. That was at 48 and it killed. Mr. Game & Watch's up B is this parachute. And like I said, it is probably one of the best recoveries in the game, if not the best recovery in the game. And once you reach the top and the parachute comes out, he's going to slow fall. Not to mention that you can also attack out of it. But remember, if you attack out of it, you lose the parachute and you're going to begin to fall at a normal speed. Personally, I think Mr. Game & Watch is one of the easier characters for newer players to take up if they're looking to start, playing off the stage. Mainly because of his recovery, because you can go all the way down here and still make the recovery pretty easily. His up B also deals damage on hit, so you can use it to chase your enemies. For example, if you grab your enemy and do an up throw, you can use an up B to follow up. I honestly don't think Mr. Game & Watch's tilts are anything special, especially when you're comparing them to the rest of his kit. However, they do come out pretty fast. So you have his forward tilt, which is this chair. It has decent range on it, but it's not very strong. Even at higher damages, I think it's relatively weak, so at 100, it'll knock off the stage. I think around 114 to 120, it will kill, though. So you can use it when you get your opponent to a really high damage, and you want to get something out quick that's not going to take a while to charge, but other than that, it's okay. His down tilt is good for spacing because it will launch an enemy at an angle, so if you need to get someone off of you, you can use a quick down tilt to push them back. Another attack that's really not going to kill unless you get to like 120 damage, let's see. So Mario died around 120 last time, so we're going to put him at 120 here and see, will this kill him from middle of the stage? Alright, so just like the forward tilt, if you get your opponent to around 120. I guess depending on the weight of them, if they're a heavier character, it might not kill them, but Mario flies pretty easily, so around 120, you can probably secure a kill on lighter characters with a down tilt. His up tilt is this 1-2 flag. Now, this hits twice if you hit them from the front. However, if you hit them from the back, it'll hit on both sides. But if you hit them from the back, it's only going to hit with the second flag. The cool thing about his up tilt, though, is it comes out really quick, and at lower damages, you can use it to combo into a back air or a neutral air. Okay, so let's talk about Mr. Game & Watch's air attacks, because they're really good, and you're going to be using them a lot. His neutral air is this fishbowl, which has a little bit of splash damage. Get it? Because it's a fishbowl? Okay, but seriously, his neutral air is really good because it hits multiple times. So if you catch them with the bowl, you're going to hit them 3 times. Okay, his forward air is the trickiest of the bunch for the sole reason that he's dropping a bomb. And in order to do damage, I think you have to catch them when you take the bomb out, or when the bomb drops and explodes. Now, it's a fixed distance, so like I said, it's a little weird, but if you knock them up, yeah, you can hit them when you take the bomb out and also when the bomb explodes. Now, this is really good for edge guarding because you can just stand here all day and just drop bombs and try and catch someone as they're coming back to the ledge. Like I said, the only real downside is they're a little difficult to hit just because they have a fixed distance and it's kind of weird. Personally, I think back air is a way better option if you're ledge guarding. Okay, Mr. Game & Watch's back air is this multi-hit turtle. If he hits you with it, I think it's, 3 or 4 hits? It looks like 3 hits, but I personally think it's far superior than his forward air, especially if you're playing over here, because if you're hanging on the ledge over here, You know, you can get out a quick back air, you can hop off back air, and you can actually cheese your opponents and knock them further out. And if you could get good at pivoting, it's also a really good attack to short hop into. You have Mr. Game & Watch's up air, which is this little gust of wind that comes out. In previous games, you actually couldn't see anything. You kind of just blew your opponent up in the air, but now it actually does some damage. And it's another multi-hit air attack, so it's really good. Especially when you're doing some up throws or down throws and you have them above you. You know, you can use it to juggle them. Mr. Game & Watch's down air is the major key, in which he will pull out a giant key and he will fast fall and try to stab you in the top of the head. It's a good attack because you can use it to fast fall and catch your opponents off guard, and I think at higher damages it will spike, but the hitbox is very small. The cool thing is you can actually chase your opponents off the edge with a down air, but you have to be careful because Mr. Game & Watch has to fall a set distance before you can recover. So it's important to keep in mind that you don't want to use it too low or use both of your jumps before you use it because then it'll be harder to recover. Last but not least, we have Mr. Game & Watch's throws. We have his down throw. We have his up throw. We have his... By the way, this is me beating you guys with the notification bell. Subscribe to my damn channel. We have his back throw, and we have his forward throw. The only throws you're really going to use with Mr. Game & Watch are his down and up throws because I feel like back and forward just put way too much distance between you and your enemy, and unless they're jumping back into you, you really can't start any kind of a combo. But his down throw, you can actually combo into an up B, you can combo it into a neutral air, whereas his up throw at lower damages, you can combo into an up air, which is really nice. But other than that, his throws really aren't anything special. But that's all we got for this video. Now go forth and play some Mr. Game & Watch, and let me know in the comment section below what character do you want to see next week. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you hit the thumbs up button. If you're new to the channel, consider hitting the subscribe button because we do a lot of Smash content. You know, we do gameplay, we do breakdowns, we do online battles, all kinds of fun stuff. So if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing. You can find me on social media, Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Twitch. I have been streaming and playing with viewers, so check me out there. All links in the description below, so go follow me up on every other platform that I'm on. Thanks for watching. Have an awesome day, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace.